Hey my beautiful saucies, it is your girl Exotical Sauce coming back at you with another video, and today I want to talk about why there are so many unambiguous dark-skinned black women attracted to the exotical space, and why we are attracting more and more unambiguous dark-skinned black female listeners. So I wanted to kind of compare the exotical space to the BWE space for a second. And one reason why I think that we are attracting more unambiguous dark-skinned black women to this space is because the BWE spaces, unlike the exoticals, the BWE spaces focuses on all the things that black women in general do not have and what they cannot get versus the exotical. So what I mean by that is that the BWE spaces say things like, oh girl, you know, he don't date no black women. You know good and well he one of them simps that love them snow bunnies or love them white women. Or, girl, you ain't gonna get that spot at the table. There ain't no spot at the table for a black girl. You gotta be light, bright, damn near white. And what that kind of stuff does, that kind of rhetoric does, is kind of paint a target on the exoticals back, or the MLS women in general. It paints a target on our backs because now it starts to make a subconscious comparison in the minds of the listeners of the the avid listeners of the BWE spaces. And what they do is they start to make comparisons, and then they start the hate speech. Oh well, that's what they like, that is what they hired. I got way more going for me than her. Look at her, she look like a raw chicken, she look like an uncooked chicken, a banana. Ugh. And that's when the hate speech starts, and then that's what causes a lot of the division. Well, the exoticals, on the other hand, talk about social climbing and privileges, and points out, especially Exoticals United's channel, points out all the privileges that all of us have, including unambiguous dark-skinned black women. And we focus a lot on fitness, decentering men, social climbing tactics, things like that, especially Exoticals United's channel. My channel basically focuses on a lot of like hypocrisies that I see, but Exoticals United is very, very good at like talking about privilege stacking and what you can do to become more, like how you can social climb and become more successful in whatever it is that you are trying to do with your life, whether it be your career or your social life, whichever it is. You can privilege stack and make money too at the same time. So Exoticals United is very good at that, and this space is very good at that. We offer a lot of different multifaceted array of topics concerning our community, and we're very inclusive. We have a lot of unambiguous dark-skinned women that are allies to the channel, and women who can resonate with the channel. I mean, because everybody can relate to fitness. Everyone can relate to say like doing things like learning how to do your makeup, or learning how to do your own hair, or being original, or developing and journaling and searching, like soul searching, to figure out who you are and what your talents are, and then focus on those and what you're good at, so that you can also social climb and privilege stack and make money doing so. And that's one thing the exotical space is good at. And so what these BWE channels do is that they use reverse psychology. Like they do, they might say one thing and it might trigger another, like a negative response. And there's like a going saying, or used to be a saying, where especially in the BWE spaces, they'll say like, well, that Becky, she'll do whatever it is for that black man. That black women just won't do, and that's why they date interracially. It's because this or that, and black women don't take no shit, and blah blah blah. And nobody really truly believes that, because if you look at if you compare the white community to the black community in general, who has the highest rate of single motherhood, the white women or the black women? Who has the highest crime rate, the black areas or the white community? Which one? Who has the most blighted homes, most broken homes, highest incarceration rates, the highest obesity rates, Black women may have a high graduation rate when it comes to earning the most degrees, but they are also the most obese and the most evicted. So when you look at those economic comparisons, nobody really believes, well, black women don't take no shit, because it kind of looks like black women take a lot of shit. And so nobody really believes that. So when you say things like, well, black men, love those preferences, or black women don't take no shit, that causes the opposite reaction and makes people start to take another look at or paint a target on that one group that you're trying to build up. And they'll start picking that group apart like, oh, well, it kind of looks like that's not right, because look at the black community, look at the state of the black community, look at the state that's in, or, oh, those are raw chickens, look at those light-skinned women. And then they start trying to pick that particular group apart. And so that's what a lot of the BWE spaces do, and it creates a lot of toxic behaviors. And it's very triggering to constantly listen to and like tell women all the things that they don't have and what they can't be all the time and what they can't get because of their skin tone or whatever. That's very triggering, and it's very like depressing also after so many years of listening to it. And all you're doing is like, I don't know what the goal is behind that. I don't know if it's to shame people who are like dating interracially, or people who are privilege stacking and are proud to be MLS, if they're trying to shame you for that and then make the reverse happen. But it actually reinforces that kind of behavior, reinforces more, or like it encourages more interracial dating and more privilege stacking amongst those groups that are being bashed in the BWE spaces. And it just makes the people who are the content creators in those spaces look like haters. And so versus the Exoticals, where the Exoticals talk about things like fitness. If you just like lose some weight, that will increase your social status a lot, just like that. It doesn't matter what your skin tone is. Learn how to do your makeup, learn how to do your hair. Don't go out in bonnets, don't wear the SpongeBob pajamas outside. You'll never know who you're going to meet, who might see you. It could be a prospective employer who might see you walking around in pajama pants and a headscarf, and it might negatively affect you in the long run, because that person that saw you at the gas station or out in the grocery store saw you like that, and then you go later to apply for a job and they remember you looking like that in public, right? So I mean, there's that aspect of it, but there's a lot of women that can relate to pretty privilege, or jealous women who behave like haters in the workplace. A lot of women can relate to that. A lot of women can resonate with that. So that's why a lot of unambiguous dark-skinned black women are attracted to the Exotical space, because the Exoticals do not let our blackness be a hindrance to us. Even though we are MLS women, we still get racial hatred, we still get prejudice, we still are subjected to racism, just like anyone else. The differences may be, there may be differences. There are. I'm quite sure the darker your skin tone, a lot of dark skin Exoticals can attest to this. So MLS women in this space are not negating that, but let's focus on what we can do and what we do have, and let's enhance that and not so much focus on the negative stuff. And in the Exotical space, we build up the mixed race, darker skin, black passing Exoticals, and the darker skin, mixed race Exoticals, as well as the lighter skin ones. So we point out all of the beauty in our features and how to bring those out and enhance that. And honestly, who really can't relate to that? A lot of people can relate to that. A lot of unambiguous dark-skinned black women can relate to pretty privilege. Not every unambiguous dark-skinned black woman is angry or been subjected to colorism and things like that. So that's why, another reason why the Exotical space is so attractive to a lot of unambiguous dark-skinned black women. Even though this space does not center that phenotype, they are still interested in hearing what we have to say. Also, the Exoticals, a lot of us are mixed. I'm monoracial myself. I'm very light-skinned, but I'm not mixed, I'm monoracial, but there are a lot of women that are mixed race, that are darker skin and that are lighter skin, and they have different ethnicities and different people in their families. They can speak different languages. They can introduce you to different kinds of foods, travel. A lot of their family originate in different places around the world that you may or may not have heard of, and they can introduce that culture and that language to you, which is a very interesting aspect to the exotical space that makes it very attractive and makes it different. And then also you have that originality factor. Never on YouTube before have you seen a group of black women, regardless if they are, regardless of what varying degrees of blackness that they have, if they're biracial, if they're multi-generationally mixed, if they are light-skinned monoracial, or if they're Creole, or if they're mixed or biracial or triracial or whatever you want to call it. These women are talking about other things besides racism and colorism and all of the isms and all the negative aspects of the black community, and they're bringing a very refreshing nuance to the discussion when it comes to the positive things about womanhood and the things that we go through in our experiences. And I think that's another aspect that makes the exotical space so attractive to a lot of different women. You also have a lot of white women and Asian women and Latinas and mixed race, like mixed variations of those groups listening as well. And our message does resonate with them too. So that's another thing that makes the exotical space so attractive to so many different women. You also have Native American women and East Indian women. You have a lot of African women from various parts of the continent. You have South African mixed women or colored women. You have a lot of Ethiopian women listening. So our message resonates with them too, because they have similar experiences. And that's another thing that makes it so attractive, because I think it's the positivity factor, and it's the sisterhood too, because exoticals are very supportive of one another. And we do clap back. We definitely do clap back. That even though we are very supportive women of each other, we don't allow ourselves to be disrespected. We don't allow ourselves to be just ran into the ground and talked about and made fun of by the BWE spaces anymore. We do clap back. We do return energy. And so in doing that, we give an example of what our strong aspect of ourselves, where we give an example of self-preservation and self-respect, and that's very attractive also to a lot of women. Another thing about the exotical space and what makes it so attractive to so many different women, white women, Hispanic women, Asian women, and unambiguous dark-skinned black women, is the fact that exoticals also can be very vulnerable and very human. This is a safe space for us to air out our grievances or cry on each other's shoulder, and we will be very supported, and we will feel a sense of trust with one another. We still go through things in life with weight loss struggles, or dating issues, or social issues, or maybe things that we go through at work or at the gym. And in everyday life, we deal with haters, and we deal with people that are jealous, or just targeting us for no reason. And then we give a reason why we think that may be happening, and things that we can do to fight back and to counter that kind of treatment and that kind of behaviors from other people. We can pinpoint where it's coming from and choose not to focus on that. And another thing that makes our space so much more attractive than a lot of the other content creators is a lot of people who comment on the exoticals are interested in starting a beef with us. They're interested in picking apart this space and trying to hate on us, when really the reverse happens, because when you do that, it causes a mental comparison in the listeners and makes them start to compare the exotical space to the space that content creator, like the BWE spaces, it makes a person have like a mental comparison of the two spaces, and then they decide based on what they hear from us and based on what they hear from the BWE spaces which one is the more attractive space. And like I said, they put a target on their own backs, and they cause the opposite. When they're trying to shame other women for listening to us, they actually cause those women to mentally compare us to the BWE spaces and their talking points and their content. And then they make a decision like, well, the Exoticals are a lot more safer, are a much more safer space, much more uplifting space, and more positive space. I mean, some women listen to both the BWE and our spaces, and they find both attractive equally, and then some women find one more attractive than the other. Another thing about the Exotical spaces is that we do not focus on who black men are dating or the black community in general, not to a point where we have to tear it down. We point out different things about it. I know I like to point out hypocrisies in the black community, but we talk about different things about based on what we've been taught from the black community, because a lot of us are connected to the black community, and it is the black community in the BWE spaces that have decided to call us out for a lot of years. No other community has done that. The black community has called out MLS people, and MLS people are answering them. So we provide counter arguments on our channels, and we definitely do clap back and return energy, but we don't have to sit back all day long and just constantly talk about other people. We talk about what we can do to uplift ourselves and our own image, and what we can do as MLS women to enrich our own lives and make our enhance our privileges and stack more unapologetically. We don't constantly let unambiguous dark-skinned black sector of the black community or the Blackistan sector of the black community or the BWE spaces live rent-free in our heads. They are not the main focus of this space, and they are not on our minds 24/7. So we choose our battles. So yeah, I definitely love how this space is growing, and more Exoticals are creating their channels and adding more and more different aspects to the discussion of all different kinds of things that MLS women go through. Not just colorism or racism, but different nuanced discussions that we experience. And we are definitely a very popular aspect, or very popular sector of black YouTube, and I'm loving it. I'm here for it. But that is my video for tonight. I love you guys. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know why you think that the Exotical spaces are more attractive to other groups of women, especially unambiguous dark-skinned black women. And yeah, just let me know what you think in the comment section, and I will see you guys next time.